Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Malikicowtipper, going to bring you another game of StarCraft 2. Complete 10 rich mineral fields in a single melee game. Wow, I did not have that achievement. But anyway, tonight's game will be against EvilZergling. As we can see, is diamond in every one of his leagues. That is like double the number of wins that I do. So, this is going to be a pretty fun, pretty interesting game, and you guys should already know that. I only bring fun, awesome, interesting games up to YouTube. Aside from my 9-minute bangling busts, I just like putting those up because they make me feel good on the inside. So, EvilZergling spawning as a blue Zerg in the this is actually going to be like the 230 position in Metropolis versus me as the red Zerg in like the 45-minute position up here. So very close positions, and Metropolis is just kind of an interesting map. I do like it as a Zerg player. I do not like the fact that there are so many elevated areas, so many choke points. It just seems like it's something that if a ball is coming at you, either a Protoss or Terran, you gotta fight it right here. You can try to fight it right here, which is okay, but Terran with their planetary fortress, it goes here, it shoots here, here, and here, and it's like, oh, I win, I put a planetary fortress on high yield. So, another thing about this is, being that we're cross positions, we're both just gonna send our overlords over. We both spotted the overlords, they're like, tag, what's up, bro? And they're wishing each other good luck right now, which is kinda cool. And then, going into this, we're each going to be able to see exactly what the other player does. Now, being that we're in such a close position, I've really almost given up on the fast expand build versus enemy Zerg, just because it leaves you so vulnerable. 2 quick speed lanes, I mean, at that point, they'll get their queen out just a little bit before you, and what they can do is they can, basically save their larva, pump out like 6 or 7 units worth of speedlings, or just even regular Zerglings that are going to turn into speedlings, and then it's done. You just lost the game because your lings are 30 seconds too late, and that's happened to me too many times. So, especially on a map like this, maybe if we were over here I might consider it, but anyway, I'm going to be going for, in this case, a 15 extractor, 14 pool. That should allow me to get my speed out right away and just transition directly into that. We check this out, we're both building pools at nearly the same time, we're both building an extractor at very near the same time. Now what he's doing is the extractor trick. So, this is something that became popular online, at least in a few cases ZvZ, where you drop an extractor, not an extractor, an evo chamber, right in front of your enemy's extractor. And now the hope is that maybe he'll go and build a second extractor and stop mining off of this one, and then you can cancel your evo chamber. What I found is honestly the best way to deal with that is to be like, you know what, fine, whatever, screw you, you just threw away a drone, you just threw away minerals, that's all mining time that I have that you do not have. And as you can see, I'm up by 1 drone right now, although that isn't really going to make too big of a difference when it really comes down to this production tab. Right now, creating a queen and an overlord right now, and I should unsupply myself right there. That overlord could have been a few seconds sooner. And I'm going to pump 4 units worth of lings, and this is more or less just going to scout, going to let me what's going on, because now that the spawning pool's up, I need to get my overlord out of there pretty quickly, because a queen has a relatively short build time, and these guys just move so slow, so you kind of need to get ahead of the game. Unless you want to be supply blocked really early. So I'm just going to send these lings over, and it's really not going to be a problem to take out the evo chamber. Now, something when this does happen, there's going to be broodlings that come out of this, and I'll show you guys what happens with that in just a second. It's actually incredibly annoying when that goes down, but checking this out, I've got my speed on the way. He's researching a spine crawler and a roach warren. So right now this seems like it could be going into a pretty typical play. I'm getting some early speed, and I'm choosing to macro up, and then he is going to be getting roaches and spines, and then maybe doing a 1-base roach play while I will be doing a, 2-base, Zergling transition and whatever else. So the broodlings spawned right there. Now the reason why I kept my lings there is realizing that, I hadn't pulled my drones off. I would rather the broodlings kill a few lings than kill a few drones. That's just a personal opinion right there. So, going back to the income tab, he has 2 units worth of Zerglings. I have 8 more units worth of Zerglings coming out. My speed is almost done. He has not yet started to research his speed. What he is doing, he's going for lair. So, this build that he is choosing to go for right here has been very popular in the ladder around 18, 1900 level diamond Zerg players, is to do a 1-base mutaplay where you, get a pretty standard build right up until you get your roaches, and then you start building spines, and you quick tech to lair. Now, he really should have a second gas in this already. Already if he really wants to pull this build off properly, because you need all the gas you can absolutely get. If we check out the resources tab right here, we're fairly even, and all I hope to do with these speedlings, especially now they see the spine crawler and the roach, is run up there and just get an idea of what's going on. So when I saw the roaches and I saw the spines, and I saw the... Did I see the lair morphing? Yep, I saw the lair going down. That gives me the inkling that I'm going to be doing, more than likely, against a 1-base muta play. And if left unscouted, this can be incredibly devastating because you could be all of a sudden committing to just macroing up Roach's Lings. You may only have 1 or 2 queens, and all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 mutas in your base. Now, even if you can manage to push those mutas back, it's the fact that then, generally speaking, you'll pull away from, your expansion because it's undefended. You might not have an Evo chamber up. And what I'm doing right now is just to make sure I'm sending out a scouting Ling to be 100% sure that he hasn't taken, Ninja base or anything like that. But as we can see, the Spire is going up right now. I've got a little pack of Lings, and I'm going to be sending them out very, very soon. There goes my Evo chamber, and behind the Evo chamber I will be dropping several Spore Crawlers. Probably a good 2 or 3 at each base, and I'm more than likely actually going to start pumping out more queens here very soon. But I'm going to send my Lings in, and just double checking, just making sure that I'm not being too paranoid here, because if I run up the ramp and if I see a ball of roaches, then I need to panic because I need to start spamming Lings like it's no one's business. I'm going to lair, and running in here, I'm going to fall around and just kind of dodge his defenses, get back in here, and there I see that. Clicked on the Spire right there, I was able to find it, not lose too many of my Lings, and just run out and get a full scout of his base. Going back to the resource tab right now, he's only got 300 gas saved up, and that's because of this late extractor. He built a few roaches, and the Spires are expensive to begin with. But going back to the production tab, I've got 3 Spore Crawlers, 4 Spore Crawlers, going up 5 Spore Crawlers, and there he's dropping 3 mutas, 6 Spore Crawlers. Oh my god, I just went insane with the spores. And I think the reason for that is I had this happen to me, I think 2 games in the last 2 days, where they did it a little bit better than him, where I've seen them literally drop 7 or 8 mutas all at once. And just having 1 Spore Crawler and 1 Queen at each base isn't quite enough. When you spread them out like this, it means that they're really not going to be able to poke in here and harass any of your attack. I spread them out just a little bit more over here. And the idea is that even though they can maybe single out these Spore Crawlers, I should have at least 2 Queens at each base where I can go and reinforce that. And just kind of make their life miserable as far as trying to pull off the strategy. So taking a look at this right now, the income tab, we're still both very even. The biggest difference really is that I've already got my expansion up and running, and his expansion is just starting to go. The production tab says that I'm researching a Spire, I'm researching more drones. Now, the reason why I feel comfortable going into this Spire build instead of going into a straight Hydralisk is I know, especially by this, that there's only a few Hydras on the field, and what I've also seen is Zerg players kind of fake this, muta build. They'll only build a few mutas, and then they'll just transition straight to Roach. So I really don't want to have Hydras out on the field, but also Hydras are good base defense against mutas, but they're so tough to be aggressive against these guys with, because mutas are incredibly fast. You basically need infestors to deal with that. And we check out the production right now. I think that's exactly what's going on. He's going to be switching over to Banglings and Roaches, and he's basically outright assuming that I'm going to be going Hydra at this point, which I can't say I necessarily blame him, because Hydra is a good counter, as far as base defense goes, but I've got 2 Queens and I've got 3 Spores at each base. Unless he rushes in there with, 10 plus mutas, I'm going to be in pretty good shape to hold that back. Which, granted, he very well could have 10 plus mutas if he was committing to this build. But, on the same token, I am now pushing out 5 mutas of my own. And I'll be researching +1 attack right away, which should hopefully give my mutas an advantage over his. When we check this out, he's maneuvering all 3 of his spines out here to the front, and he's building a Nidus network, so I'm assuming the reason he has these overlords over here is to hopefully Nidus me and just put some roaches and some hydras in my base, maybe even do some burrow tricks. Right now I'm rushing out with my mutas, and I'm just going to see what's going on. The purpose of these guys is to do whatever damage they can, pick up whatever they can, like this overlord right here, which is kind of cool. And actually, did not supply cap him. He's actually doing a very good job at keeping his supply more than manageable. I'm trying to keep mine up as well, but also to see what's going on. So poking in here, I see the spines, queens, and the mutas. Now, this might have been kind of a mistake on my part, as I'm going to maneuver my mutas around the back, and, they all took a couple hits right there. He's going to pull back, and I'm going to decide to commit to this battle. Nope, I'm going to pull out. And I guess harass the queen a little bit, then mutas come. Now I'm going to fly back, because he does have a Spore Crawler at his base, so he is preparing to defend against mutas. The difference between this is I'm committing to a Mutaling build now. And if we check out the unit tab that we have on the screen, I've got 10 mutas to his 3. I'm up on the drones, I'm up on the Zerglings, he's got a few roaches out in the field. If I were to push right now, I'd be in a very good position. And just looking at the production tab, 18 more units worth of Zerglings, more mutas coming out. And this is going to gonna kind of start to reap the benefits of this faster expand that I was able to do and able to hold on to right now. And actually, I saw the Nidus network, so what I'm doing is I'm moving out Overlords, which I had pulled back because of the mutas, and I'm dropping creep tumors all over the place, and sending Zergling out over here because I want to be able to see what's going on. If I check out this, I have no clue that he has those 2 Overlords sitting back over there, little asshole. But sending in my bigger now improved pack of Mutalisks, the +1 tag is almost complete. And just taking a look at this right now, I'm going to be able to snipe this queen, and you know, I'm actually going to stay here and I'm going to be able to pick out this Hydra Den too, just because you check out the production tab, there's 6 units worth of Hydras on the way, and I'd even have enough to deal with that pretty easily right here. But, you know, I see the Hydras, that's usually the ascended GTFO. There's queens, Hydras, spores. You just really don't want your mutas there. That's too much anti-air against these tiny little guys. They're all fragile. So many fragile Zerg units. But 3 more mutas, 12 more sets of lings coming out, and just continuing at this point. We're about even on the Harvester tab. I will be sending out a... Yep, there we go. I'm going to be doing another expand over here, just like he is actually. So he's trying to get ahead of me as far as his expands go. I didn't even know he was doing this in the game. So it's always a good thing, you know, to try to stay ahead of your opponent as far as your expansions go. But I've got a lot of lings moving out here, and I've got a lot of mutas moving out. If we check out the unit tab right now, 18 mutas to his 0, 6 Hydras, 21 lings, 4 roaches. This is going to be a very one-sided battle, unless his queens and his spines and spores are going to be able to hold me off. And what's actually kind of interesting right here is that he was starting to put up a Nidus in the back of my base. He was just getting ready to move out and see what he could do. And if I hadn't pushed out, if my army would have been over here, he could have done a lot of damage, you know, to my economy before I had the opportunity to get back in on this. But I was able to see the Nidus, so if my army would have been there, I hopefully would have been able to take it out before that was even a problem. But just rushing in here, there's just so many Zerglings. His Zerglings are not even speeded, so many mutas. It's really just kind of going to be a one-sided battle at this point. Even these 4 spines, they're like, oh my god, we can't kill everything. And not even caring that there's spore crawlers there, they're just dying to everything. And, you know, I like that. That's something that I've seen a lot on ladder lately, is just a lot of bad manners when it goes back to playing. Like, it seems like every time I beat a Terran player right now, they just get pissed off at me for using speedlings and banglings, or Zerg versus Zerg. There's just so many of us that it's almost kidding, like, we're turning against our own as far as that goes. And the reason why I brought this game up in general is it really shows the power of scouting, where had I not scouted this, I probably wouldn't have laid down the spores and had the extra queens. You know, had I not scouted the Nidus network, I would not have spread creep out here and put out drones. Now, the reason why I didn't spread creep very good in this game is it's not so much important in ZvZ, especially if you're going air builds. You know, if you're going like a Roach Hydra build, yeah, you want your creep everywhere. And especially if his creep is getting close to your base, you just want to get your creep out there, that way he can't see what the hell is going on. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. This is Malikicowtipper signing out.